Film Club.
Is that the one off Ben?
The one that Ben just randomly bought us
I
again.
don't understand it. What? Is he just...
He just gets drunk and he buys us games.
Yeah, I'll give you his address if you want.
Thank you very much for joining this episode of Film Club. I'm one of your hosts, Andy Harrison. To my right, as always, it's the sober Andy Donaldson.
Sober?
Eventually, I'm going to get drunk and buy him a game.
Oh, well, I'm not the one that buys games. It's actually my brother, Ben.
Every single week in Film Club, we invite you along to watch a film with us. We dive into cinema's best before coming back here to talk it out. Andy, this week, will you stand by me?
Was it last week that I started drowning your vocals out your dialogue?
Possibly. It was last week I sang the song, although I can't remember the lyrics of the songs. I think I got it wrong.
I don't know. You were loud.
Give us a hit. What's Stand By Me all about?
Stand By Me is a coming-of-age film about four friends who grew up around 12-year-olds.
You said they grew up 12-year-olds?
Grew up as 12-year-olds. So the 12-year-olds, it's a coming-of-age, they grow up sort of thing.
So they don't grow up 12-year-olds?
Whatever. And they're in a small town, and they've all individually got their own like kind of issues, their own problems, their own backstory, their own family, majorly family kind of, or you know, their kind of name. And what it is one of the kids receives word from his older brother in hiding. He's under the house looking for pennies, and he hears about a body, and he's like, "Oh, we could find the body. Hey, we could get it because the whole town's looking for it, and we could be on the news, we could be in the papers.
We can be heroes."
Yeah. And so they set off on a two-day journey to go forward, to go to this quite out the like kind of rural kind of place to find this body from this area that they heard about. And on the way, they kind of like deal with their issues in their own way, and kind of it's like you go from like they kind of progress, they evolve, they have a little arc, a tiny little one, and at the very end find a body. They come with a little thing of the older brother and his like kind of gang, led by Kiefer Sutherland, you know, Ace. He's a bit of a prick. And you have a little standoff, and at the end, good old Georgie, is it?
No, it's George. I want to say Giorgio. That's not right, is it?
It is
Gordo.
Gordy, because he's Gordon, Gordy. Anyway, he has a gun, he's like, no one does this body, we'll leave the body where it is and just do it anonymously. So, yeah, and it kind of like ends with the narration of the film by an older Gordy saying, this is the story of these guys, I kind of like made sure...
Yep.
I'll never forget them.
It starts with it as well.
Yes, it does.
It's nice bookend where he starts the film, I think, in the car reading the paper about it.
Yep.
Then yeah, like the end is his reflection on the most comedical terminal I've seen for a while.
What do you mean?
He looks like he's writing his memoirs on this Fallout style terminal.
Oh right, yeah. Wait, it's an old film. When did it come out? 1986?
1986.
That'd been an old bloody computer.
I just thought it was quite amusing that all the fonts like green and stuff.
So based on a Stephen King book.
Based on a Stephen King book.
The Body.
And it got to the end of this, actually I was never aware that it was based on a Stephen King book until it pops up right at the end being like, you know, based on whatever the book's called. And I suddenly went, that feels like a Stephen King film. Like it kind of feels like a Stephen King film.
Very much so.
And this mostly comes from earlier this year or last year, we watched It. And this just feels like the first episode of It.
What I really like about Stephen King, the film adaptation of Stephen King, like so this director is actually directed by a Rob Reiner, who did Misery as well. If you look at stuff like Misery, look at stuff kind of like It a bit. If you look at stuff like Stand By Me, stuff like what's the other major one that he did? You got Shawshank, which is a bit different because it's set in a prison, but there's another major one that he did as well, and I can't think of it right now. They're all kind of set in rural areas. Stephen King's books are always set in Maine, where he's from, but like this is Oregon, for example. I mean, if you look at stuff like Dreamcatcher and stuff like that, they're always rural places, and I think this is one of the best things about this film. Like some of those views, because I always remember, I said to him last week, it reminds me of Stranger Things. Why does it remind you of Stranger Things? Because you hadn't seen it. It's always the railway scenes. It's a rail track, you know. It's just looking down, like again, like a very kind of Fallout kind of.
Yeah.
That's what you should say about the whole Fallout computer.
Well, yeah, it's everything about this tries to capture those rose tinted nostalgia memories of being a child and.
No, like we used to do, wouldn't we? We'd walk around the woods and everything. We'd go through the moors and we'd go find all these like weird places. We had a few dens and that, and it's like it's creating a distilled version of those memories. It's taking all those memories, all the best parts of those memories, and distilling them into this one moment for these kids. Yeah,
and it's this sort of film where you can't help but watch it and feel a certain elation through that.
Yeah,
and a certain sort of longing and enjoyment, and sort of your inner child comes out as you're watching the film.
Yeah, but in many ways, it's not just the longing, it's not just the nostalgia and the almost excitement from that nostalgia, but it can be quite somber as well, like the parts where you have to deal with your issues, that you have to move on, that the realization that we're letting you down, which I fucking love. River Phoenix in this is fantastic. I mean, that guy could act. Shame about what happened. But like just all those moments, like he kind of like weaves in and out of the highs and lows and the little fights that they have, the realizations, you know, like at the end of that amazing part with Tommy, it's not Tommy, it's Tenny and Chris, where it's just like, we cool? He goes, we cool, like this. And I was like, it's so good.
Yeah.
Like how we were, I mean.
And it's those moments that make everything else so sweet, because you have to have the bitter stuff, the sweet stuff to play so well. And hats off here to every single one of those kid actors, because they do such a great job.
Even the older guys as well, the teenage guys.
But like when we were talking about it, we were talking about how, okay, you cast these kid actors and they do a great job in it as well, by the way. But they do a great job, but there's always this sort of like, most time in modern cinema, they lean on older professional actors to be the main characters and the kid will be a supporting role.
Yeah.
They's guys don't get that luxury at all.
They let it.
They are the entire film.
I mean, how you probably see a whole segment of if you disregard the older brothers and all that, you have like a whole section, maybe about 5 minutes total, of where you have like the father and the mother in it. Besides that, I mean, you have the shopkeeper, and besides that, I don't think there's any of the adult characters.
The guy that chases him off the land.
Of course, yeah, him as well. So you got like 4 adults in the film, full of them about 10 kids.
Yeah,
ranging from 12 to about 19. And it's class. I mean, you see John Cusack as his older brother, and those little lovely flashbacks, which is weird. I'm thinking about being John Malkovich. I'm like, okay. And then you have, like I said, Keith Sutherland as Ace, who plays a really good villain. I mean, look at something like 24, and you're thinking, I'm thinking of him as 24, and I'm thinking, oh, right, well played. But then coming back to the 4 main guys, Will Wheaton, who plays Gordy, as mentioned, River Phoenix, who plays Chris, Corey Feldman, who plays Teddy, who, by the way, oh my days, there's a picture, if you get it down there, I'll send you it, which I sent to my mate. We have a group of lads, like big group of our mates in that, it's like about 15, 20 of us. One of the lads in there, our mate Cole, spitting image of him. So I sent the group, I was watching it, I was like, Collie, mate, I'm watching Stand By Me for the first time in ages. I didn't know he starred in it. Sent the picture of him, I was like, oh my God, that's so uncanny, like this. And then obviously you got the last one as well, who plays Vern, is Jerry O'Connell. And just the 4 of them, but it goes beyond like their acting and how they do carry this film forward, but the chemistry together as well. I mean, the main chemistry comes across, well, I say all of them with all the breakdown moments, but obviously Chris and Gordy. And it's that scene where he's on about pulling down. There's 2 scenes, sorry. There's one where he's a bit back in the rail tracks before the bridge, and then there's obviously one at the campfire bit. And like each takes like, Chris takes the lead, that part. He's like, I don't want to drag you down. And then later on he's like, I've got that name attached to me. What if I stole that milk money, but I tried to give it back? And it's just like he breaks down. I'm like, fuck yeah, well played, mate.
That's what makes it so good, though. So you've got this narrative story, which, as far as the story is concerned, is about some kids who are going to go find a dead body and then become heroes and whatever. But what the film's actually commenting on a lot of the time is like social classes and injustices that are found within those social
especially
classes,
in a small town community.
Exactly, the prejudice that goes with those ideas and how that can impact the youth, and how that youth is then going to grow up to become whatever they're going to become because of what you've put on them.
And that's what I really like about the ending. Go on, sorry.
No, it's fine, and that's the strength of the film, to be able to have that thematic just core and wear it on its sleeve throughout the entire film, just shamelessly. And that's why it makes for such a strong watch for everybody over the age of like 14.
The ending where he goes on about like how everyone came up, it's like, grew apart from Vern, grew apart from Teddy, but Chris, he followed me at the college where he became a lawyer, and then he was in an eating competition, which reverts back to a previous like kind of story he made, which is great. I'll go into it in a second. He goes, he tried to split up a fight and he got stabbed, and it was just like, I really like that, like.
And any lesser script would have had them be friends forever.
Exactly, but I like that like tonal, like that downturn, but like he says it with. He's almost like proud of how he went out. He was proud of his mate that tried to stop everything. Like held him back. He's like, what a way to go! That guy just is a testament to his kind of like his character. And like I said, going back in that previous story, that what's his name? Thing he goes on about, Gordy goes on about, the pie eating contest. Hilarious. Like I forgot about that part. I've seen this before like years ago when I was probably about 12, 13, 14 myself. back in my old dad's classic film collection. So I can't remember. All I remember is the rail tracks, and I remember the scene at the end, like the standoff, and I can't remember anything in between. And I forgot the
halfway through, everyone's vomiting on each other.
Oh my god, yeah! And I love how like they haven't even ate blueberries themselves, but they're still vomiting blueberries.
No. And why is the guy wearing a fat suit? They cast a guy who's like he's kind of overweight, but then they put him in a fat suit as well.
And it's just like it shows like just how daft it is. But like I think that like goes over because it's obviously what's his name, Gordy telling a story. It just shows his creativity and how he's funny. The kids are laughing their heads off and going, "Oh, what about the ending?" But I thought the ending was absolutely superb. But maybe that's there. They just don't see
I think that's supposed to be kind of
like the immaturity sort of thing. And I don't know. I think everything just ties together. But
well, yeah, you take all of this stuff and then you wrap it in a package that's kind of a product of its time, but it's a product of its time, not in a bad way actually. I think because it's able to embrace its time period, it becomes. It's going to sound silly. It becomes timeless. Even though I think it got a little bit lucky, but it chose the right music, the right tracks to ground itself into. And
the right location, like that Oregon there looks amazing. I really want Fallout to do Oregon. Obviously again, just like last week, we can't actually play any of the music from this film in this episode because it's all licensed material. Well, that's what I like about it. It's like 50s and 60s song sort of thing. It's by Jack Neitz.
But you've got to have that because again, this is playing on your memories and your feelings and your ideas about when you were a kid. And when you were a kid, you don't look back. So you don't look back in your memories with a perfectly scored piece of music to your moments. You think about all the shit that was on the radio, and they take a little like crap radio with them, and then listen to
that
music.
That was such a good call. He's like, let's put the radio on again like this. Even like little singing snippets in between when the kids are trying to do something, like take the piss out of each other, and that's what they do. That he even comments on it. Gordy says, these jokes about how trying to like better our jokes in each other's mothers, which is like kind of we didn't do that, Lynn, but it's kind of what we did in each other.
Yeah,
and it's like that's it. Despite this being in the 50s, 60s sort of thing, it's still kind of what we did as kids. Like, that's why I like it so much.
That's what makes it timeless. The human nature, the human experience is true no matter what the scenario.
Yeah.
And that's what they managed to get through here. Every kid gets their moment. Every moment gets to have some sort of commentary on what they're going through. The whole package just clicks together. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did.
Yep.
I really, really enjoyed it.
You haven't seen it. Yeah, you've never seen it before, so like I was quite excited to see your response. I knew you'd like it because it's everything you kind of like in a film.
Yeah. Perfect sort of like middle America location and all that sort of feeling. So anyway, there is Stand By Me. You can let us know in the comments below what you thought of Stand By Me, or you can hit us on Twitter, as always. We're back once again next week, though, where we're going to continue a little bit with Rob Reiner. And take a look
I wanted to watch this for ages.
A film we've been hesitant about, but neither of us have seen.
But everyone, like even you, me, they're like, "Oh, that's classic! I can't believe you haven't seen it."
People go on about this film all the time. It's The Princess Bride.
So
it
could be great, it could be not great, but I want to just give it a try.
We'll see you back here next week for The Princess Bride. So long.